Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now let's crack straight on with it. I've got this new Gigapan here. In fact, I did this about a week ago, but I've been doing other stuff with Gigapans from the Perseverance Rover since then. So I'm coming back to this, which I put up a week ago, and we've got a really nice Gigapan here. It's in black and white, unfortunately. It's from the Curiosity Rover, and it's sold 3315 masked right. And there's quite a lot of images in this, which I stitched together, as you can see, and it makes a nice long panoramic, and there's some good detail in here. It's a little bit dark on the right side here, and it's a bit too bright on the left side, but the middle section and this part here is just right, and you can really see quite a lot of detail. The shadows are good, and the definition is good, even though it's only black and white. The actual black and white images from the Curiosity Rover, I think, on the whole, are generally better than the coloured ones. Mainly because the colour is false anyway, and it can obfuscate detail, whereas black and white, you're really seeing the shapes and shadows more clearly, okay, without weird sort of muddy colours all over it. And the thing I found initially was this. Now, this looks like a rock initially, right? But I don't think it is. This is a chair, or what you might call a throne. Now, bear in mind, this particular area of Gale Crater at the base of Mount Sharp is in the area that I've designated the Royal Mile, okay? Now, the Royal Mile, as I've said probably 100 times before, since I named it that, probably a couple of years ago, is absolutely littered with giant statues and portraits and ruins of walls and structures that are ruined, okay? And a lot of the things we're seeing here on the ground were once inside these structures, which have been blown to smithereens, okay, and collapsed, and are now largely buried in sand. But the thing is, you can see things like this all over the place, and most of them are just rocks or fragments of architecture, architectural fragments. This, I think, is possibly an actual seat or throne or chair, whatever you want to call it. And if you use the magnifier and look carefully, now this is on Mars Magazine, I put this up, okay? So you can see the meme here, but there will be clips of this at the end of the video as well. And you can take screenshots or whatever, or download this image if you want, anything like that. And you can also go on the Gigapan and check it out. But if you look at the detail in here, right, does that look like rock to you? This to me looks like petrified wood. This looks like actual wood. You can see grain to it here, right? This is why I colorized it, because in black and white, you wouldn't think necessarily that's petrified wood, but I think it is, because that grain doesn't look like the sort of grain you would get on the local rock here, the sandstone and basalt and all the other types of local geology, and it's very wood-like, I would say, okay? I've got it up in here. I'll show you a close-up of that. This is a little bit brighter on here. And you can see, even in the raw clip here on the right, you can see that grain coming down here, okay? See these long lines coming along, all parallel? This is wood grain. Now, I work with wood, I've been working with wood for a long, long time. As well as being an artist, I make guitars, right? I repair and make guitars out of wood, right? And my brother's a boat builder. He deals with wood all the time. I'm sure a lot of you out there have done carpentry at work, or at school or college or something like that, or at home. This is wood. And you can actually see the seat here coming round, and the base of the seat here. We've got a line here coming across, right? And another part stuck to it there. So I could be wrong. This could be petrified wood rather than actual wood. But it looks like wood grain to me, and is a lot more compelling when you see it in the coloured version I've got here, which I've tilted up. Okay, this is on a slope obviously, and a lot of these things have slid down this slope, or have been filled in or backfilled in with sand, okay, and dust. So a lot of these things are tilted over or damaged or whatever, and this is obviously damaged. There was something attached here at the front, but you can see the grain in this is absolutely amazing, right? Look at the grain. Look at this. It comes down to here, and then the seat part is really, I would say, almost perfect, right? It's got a lovely curve here, and then we got the front coming down, and this part coming down here, slightly knobbly at the top there, and there's something there and here. It's almost as if there was something carved onto it here, just here, and perhaps here as well, like some kind of animal depiction or something like that, maybe, I don't know. It's eroded. It's probably many, many thousands of years old. So is this petrified wood, or has this been carved to look like wood? Because if you look on the side here, this looks more like rock here. We've got this kind of texture on the side, right? Got these cracks in here. Doesn't mean it is rock, but you've got these kind of craggy parts to it, right? Which kind of looks like rock, right? It's all in shadow there. But then suddenly we have this amazing texture here of what seems to be wood grain. So maybe this is actually wood and not even petrified wood. Now, on a dry, barren, water or moisture free and almost oxygen free planet like Mars, like we have here, wood would probably last for thousands of years, because it wouldn't rot. There's no oxygen, it won't oxidize, and there's no moisture, so it won't get damp and rot, right? So it's literally dried right out. But what it may be is actual petrified wood that's been carved into an actual throne or chair shape, and perhaps one of the dignitaries or leaders that I've shown in some of the giant portraits that I've shown in this area. I'll put some clips of those in at the end for you, okay? But there are a whole bunch of them in this area, and some of them are massive, they're like 100 feet high, okay? Huge portraits. One of Ares, one of the emperor that I've called him, and there's all sorts around here. There's loads of weird, most of them look human, but some of them don't. So perhaps someone actually sat on this. I mean, you could actually see yourself sitting on this quite easily. So that was the main thing here, but also there are a few other things. I'm going to quickly show you the Gigapan, but I'm not going to go through everything on here because it would take too long. I'm just going to show you the main clips I've got, but there are loads of weird and wonderful things in here. One of them is this, which I've marked, and it's a platform just here. You can see it coming down here, and there's a bit missing here, and it comes right down. This looks like concrete, like a concrete floor. So I think what we're seeing here are the remains of a structure, or at least a level of a structure, right? This may not be the base level. There may be levels below this. And in fact, if you look carefully here, you can see what look a bit like steps going down. But what I think this is, as I've said before, and proven before, a lot of these structures in the area were actually built from concrete, or at least partly in concrete, okay? I think this may be a floor level that's actually collapsed here, and what we're seeing underneath is part of the foundation or reinforced concrete underneath here, right? I'll go back a bit, use the hover zoom magnifier, look in there. It's all kind of, it goes down into the ground, okay? But this looks like a driveway. I'm not saying it's a driveway, but if you imagine just having your driveway done and having concrete laid down, that's what it looks like, right? that's what it looks like. The only thing we're lacking here is colour. We have this long ridge at the back. We have this, what looks like a platform or floor level here. And then we come over to the left here, and we have what looks like a throne or chair here, which is leaning back a bit. And it seems to be attached to a piece there. So this may have been actually built into the structure, perhaps, or at least on top of this floor here, okay? So this floor will come right across here, and there was probably a wall here that's collapsed down. We have this big rock sticking up here, which may have been part of the structure, or one of the cornerstones or something that's still in place, okay? It's heavily eroded, and there's some amazing textures on some of this stuff. Then there was this up here, which is very strange. This looks like a structure that's collapsed here. Look at this. We've got these big boulders, and a lot of them are kind of neatly piled on top of each other. And some of them seem to have, like this one here, some kind of carvings in them, just here. Some complex patterns going on here, right? And we have this weird thing here. Now this may be partly an optical trick, because there's some very complex, what I would call architectural wreckage here, right? Lots of fragments. And sometimes they sit sort of at funny angles in front of each other and make strange shapes, but I'm not sure about this. But this looks like a carving here of a person, just here. There's the shoulder, there's the ear, there's the helmet, and there's the face, and you can see a mouth, 2 eyes, and a nose there, like a skeletal face, but with a big ear sticking out the back, and the body coming down here. It's not very clear, and it's very ghostly looking. In other words, this may not actually be real. In other words, what I'm saying is this could be a trick, a visual trick, but let's have a look at it closer. It's not always possible to tell with a black and white image when it's in kind of shadowy detail like that. But this is it enhanced, and then I kind of changed my mind once I enhanced it. When I first looked at it, I thought, don't know, there's lots of weird wrecked parts here. But then we have this dude who looks a bit like Skeletor in a standing or sitting position, but at least the top part of the body here. Now, concentrate on the right side here. We've got the raw one there, we've got an enhanced one here, and a more enhanced one here, with the brightness cranked right up, and it's been desaturated a bit as well. But if you look here, you've got a helmet, we've got an ear, very large ear, we got the chin, we got a mouth, we got a hollow nose like a skull, and 2 orbits there, eye cavities, and then the body coming down. There's some kind of detail here, which may be arm detail or something, I don't know, but it's very vague. This is in quite heavy shadow and at a distance, and then we have the collar area here, right? So this could be a priest, it could be a warrior, I don't know. Who knows what it actually represents or whom it actually represents. But you can see all that detail in there if you don't get too close to it. But it's poor detail, and unfortunately, even though I cranked the brightness up, it's still a bit hard to see, but you can see that there, okay? Let's go back to the one on here, and you can see the shape of it there. Once you know it's there, you can see it. But to spot it in the first place was really weird. You can see that head, the ear sticking out the back, and the body coming down. That looks like a shoulder here, and then the front. But this may be partly an optical trick, because we have an object just to the front of it here, obscuring it. So the actual shape of this may actually have a bigger body going behind this wreckage here, okay? So this may, at least in part, be a optical trick, because the right side or the right shoulder and part of the body here, if that's what it is obscured. So this could be a complete optical trick. I don't know. But we may get some other shots of this. But there are some weird details on some of these big boulders here. And like up here, we got what look like glyphs and things carved into some of these things. Like up here, we got a letter there or something going across here. So keep an eye open for that sort of thing. So we got a possible figurine or carved effigy or statuette there, or statue. And this chair, or throne I've called it, I don't know how big it is exactly, but I'm guessing it's about the size of a normal chair we would have here on Earth. Judging by how big this is near the front of the image. And bear in mind, it seems like the Rover's very close, but the Rover's probably quite a way back, but zoomed in with the camera. So we feel like we're closer than we are, okay? There's that platform there. It's there. There's the throne. The priest or dude statue there. The Skeletor dude is just there. And then we have one or two other things here. There's a weird object sticking out of the ground there. Can't really make out what it is. Maybe nothing. But it looks very odd the way it's sticking out of the ground. At an angle there. There's some really weird stuff in this area. I've got some amazing detail in some of the actual supposed geology here, which, a lot of which I think is actual concrete. And this is a good example here. Now, it helps if you take a clip of this and darken it. I'll show you a clip of that darkened up in a minute. But look at the thing next to it here. This part to it. This looks like it was attached to something, or something was attached to it. Just here. We've got a very angular kind of section in there, which is a completely different kind of texture to the material to the right of it here, which looks like eroded concrete. Okay, so there's some really interesting stuff going on here, and it's very complex, some of it. And someone else has put a find up here as well, right at the other end, which is very bright, unfortunately. There's a weird thing sticking up here, and it's right at the back of the image, which looks like a statue or gargoyle or perhaps something like that. Standing up, looking up into the air with a beak-like head to it, just there. And there seems to be another figurine or weird thing next to it, just there, with a head on it, just there. But this may just be wreckage. I'll take some clips and darken that for you and see if I can drag something out. But that's a long way off, and it's quite high up. And then we have this, which I haven't shown you. I've forgotten all about this one, actually. This is the same area. I'll show you the raw clip on the Gigapan in a second. Possible glyphs. I don't know for sure. It's a bit hard to say. We've got a raw clip here. And you can see all these things here, like a line, which looks like a line of glyphs. And there's also some other details in this rock as well. When you crank the contrast, like I've done here, I've colour enhanced it as well. But you can see there's like a whole bunch of what seem to be letters or something here. But it's a bit hard to work out the exact shape of some of these things. But you can see them in a row here, right? And there's some more down here, I think. And there's another one there. But some of them are a bit vague. What I'll do, I'll darken that up for you. Well, let me show you on the Gigapan where it is, just so you know where to look. There's that weird architectural fragment there. And over here is the glyphs, just here. On this slab. This broken slab, okay? So there it is. You can actually see that with the naked eye. You don't even need to enhance it. And if you've got the magnifier, you can kind of look at the shapes here. And there's something weird here as well, which may be some kind of pictogram or something, or picture carved into it. I don't know, like a relief carving, could be. Definitely something there. And you can see that there's something here as well. There's a weird shape here, cut into it, and some details here, the semicircle. There's something up here as well. You've just got to add contrast to these normally, and that will do the job. You can start to see things coming out more now. Let's go darker again. Go really dark. You can see them now. And when you go too far, the shadows just become black, and it all starts to break up. But let's just try flipping it to negative. That's always a good one. With glyphs, negative selection. Yeah, you can see a row of something there. Okay. But this whole thing may be flipped over. So This particular slab, that I'm calling it, may have been tossed over, and this may be upside down for all we know. So this could be up the other way in reality, but we don't know. We don't know that. The only way to find out really would be you probably could by surveying the area a lot more carefully and work out what this was attached to. If you find the other parts of this, then you could probably work out which way up it was supposed to go. And that is possible to do. This is what they do in places like Syria and Turkey and Iraq, places like this, where they have destroyed or damaged archaeological sites that may have been blown up recently. And what you basically have to do is pick up the parts, or survey the parts very carefully, photograph everything, make sketches of everything in close detail, and then work out which parts fit together. And then you can reconstruct damaged artwork like statues and buildings with carvings and glyphs on them and that kind of thing. That's what they do, the reconstructive archaeology. This was a building, these are fragments. There seems to be a throne here, there it is, with what looks like petrified wood, or it's either actual wood or petrified wood, or possibly it's been carved to give the impression of wood grain, a wood effect, in fact. And there's that enhancement there. So some crazy stuff here, and there's loads and loads of stuff I haven't shown you. There's that platform that I was on about. I've colorized it for you. There it is, and you can see it there. You can see the outline of it there. It comes to there, and we've got a broken, sort of dilapidated part here with steps. Right, going into the ground like this. So interesting, and we got a line there. You can actually see where they constructed it. When you lay concrete, you generally do it in sort of rectangular segments, right? We just had our drive done, and that's exactly what they did. There's loads of it around here. See, there's more over here, and you can actually see the symmetry there. Okay, these rectangles, insane. So we've got construction, we've got glyphs, we've got a possible throne or chair, and we have a weird sort of ghostly statue or statuette or figurine, whatever you want to call it, at the back there. Interesting stuff. And I'm sure you will find a lot more stuff in here. I've only touched on the more obvious things here. There's loads of weird stuff in here. Absolutely insane. And there's lots of things that look like carvings in the rock on some of these rock faces. They look, things that look like glyphs and carvings and shapes, possible animals and all sorts of stuff going on. But a lot of it's in not great detail because it's a bit too far away, but there's enough up close here in this Gigapan to see a lot of this stuff in fine detail like we have here. Absolutely insane stuff going on here, and I'm sure, like I said, you're going to find a lot of stuff if you check this out. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share on social media, that really helps, and please leave a comment or just a thumbs up would be great. And if you can't leave a full comment, put a thumbs up emoji or something like that, or a smiley face, that counts as a comment, and that really helps this channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Clips coming up now.